There's a lot in the white paper, so rather than you have to go through it, we've read it, digested it, and we'll explain each point as we go. There is also a proposal in the white paper. There will be a national registration for landlords, making checking and enforcement easier. There will be a new ombudsman, and tenants will be able to take poorly performing landlords to the ombudsman to gain redress. Landlord membership will be mandatory, and the ombudsman will have the power to compensate up to £25,000, also issue rent repayment orders, and failure to adhere could lead to banning orders. It feels a bit like a one-way street in that the ombudsman is only able to resolve tenant complaints about landlords and not landlord complaints about tenants. There will be a new property portal for all UK rented homes that will include information from the official Rogue Landlord database and details of landlords' compliance. And the portal will help landlords understand and demonstrate their compliance to the legal requirements. It feels here that there's a bit of an overlap between the property portal and the landlord register. There's proposed changes to the court process, and the aim is to reduce the backlog of hearings for evictions. There will be changes to the enforcement powers, bolstering the policing of bad landlords. Local authorities' investigative powers are being increased, as well as fines they can issue. They can also stop landlords from renting out properties that don't meet the minimum standards. There are changes to the way landlords select tenants. Agents and landlords will be prevented from refusing tenants on benefits without good reason. And tenants who want to live with their pets will have the right to do so, albeit subject to the reasonability test. And the white paper allows landlords to require the pet owner to take out pet insurance. And lastly, the idea of renting passports. This is to enable poorer tenants to move home without having to stump up 2 sets of deposits. Currently, the view is that this won't be implemented at this stage. So there's obviously a lot to go through in the white paper, and the summary is it is still a blueprint. It is subject to parliamentary approval, and the previous Tenant Fee Act did take around 2 years to receive royal assent. The best view at the moment is some of this might come into play in the middle of 2023. It's important to note that there are similar reforms being implemented in Wales. So, will the impact be to give landlords a reason to leave the market? And if so, will those houses, if they're not retained in the private rented sector, will it lead to a worsening of the housing shortage? And we all know that we need to build more houses to meet current demand. It's noted that striking the balance between the security for tenants and the flexibility for landlords has been a hard balance to strike. And ultimately, the smooth implementation will come down to tenants knowing their rights and landlords and agents incorporating these changes into their processes. The number and frequency of legislation changes in the private rented sector makes it more important than ever to have a good agent to safeguard you, safeguard your property and your tenants. The regulation of property agents is a framework that is proposed and will require letting agents in the future to be licensed or to hold a relevant qualification. If any of that is interesting, you want to get in touch and talk about property management or your responsibility as a landlord, please subscribe to the channel below. Thanks very much.